What is up, YouTube? We are back with some Incursion League stats. So these are some pretty interesting numbers, particularly about the popular areas where players are at, as well as player deaths. So let's jump right in. So here's the announcement. We're currently in the 6th week of the Incursion League, which is about halfway. Now is a good time to check in with our statistics from the past week and see what we can learn. This time we're looking at the areas people are playing and trying to identify the most deadly parts of Rayclast. So the following list enumerates the top 10 areas that have been entered the most during the past week of Incursion League. We're very happy to see that so many players are engaging with the league and entering the Temple of Atzoatl. We're guessing that if it were also to drop the Doctor Divination card, it would surpass the Burial Chambers in popularity. The Blood Aqueduct is also more popular than it has been in the past, in part due to divination card farming and because its layout is so efficient for incursions. Alright, so here's the top 10 entry areas. So Burial Chambers is the number 1, obviously mentioned because of the Doctor. The Temple of Atzoatl is actually number 2. Blood Aqueduct is number 3. The Twilight Strand is number 4. Beach, number 5. Arid Lake, number 6. The Coast, number 7, which is pretty funny. The Crystal Veins, number 8. Chamber of Sins, level 1, number 9. And the Crossroads, number 10. Raw number of deaths per area. These areas are where players are dying the most in both standard and hardcore variants of Incursion in the past week. The top 2 reflect where players are spending the most time, which makes sense. The others appear to be areas that have quite deadly bosses. So, Temple of Atzoatl is where people are dying. Of course, everybody's complaining about the Chaos Spitters, which do a ton of damage. Burial Chambers, which is just funny. People are dying because they're wearing Magic Find gear, like me, as I'm farming Burial Chambers, and I just have no defenses whatsoever. The Feeding Trough, so that's interesting. The Feeding Trough is on the way to Catawba. The Chamber of Innocence, which is interesting that Innocence is and still continues to be one of the more difficult act bosses. Really interesting to see that. The Cathedral Rooftop, the Harvest, the Harbor Bridge, the Rotting Core, Beach, and Diodre's Cesspool. Pretty interesting. Average number of deaths per instance. The following lists the average number of deaths occurring in each instance, both across standard and hardcore versions of Incursion in the past week. Note that players dying more than once can really increase these numbers. So we've got the Feeding Trough, the Hall of Grandmasters, which is interesting that Hall of Grandmasters is up there above the Shaper's Realm, the Alluring Abyss, Poorjoy's Asylum, Malkoon, the Putrid Cloister, Vol Temple, Kaer Blad, that's the one that I always have trouble with, that's the lair, and then the Rotting Core. Here's the average deaths per instance. This is only hardcore. Naturally, the deaths in hardcore only are a lot lower than between all league versions. However, it looks like the Hall of Grandmasters and the Vault Temple are popular places to end your hardcore characters' adventures. So, the Hall of Grandmasters is by far the top. With the average number of deaths, and then Vol Temple is next up there, and then it just drops way off to Malkoon, Poorjoy's, Perandus, Alluring Abyss, Absence of Value and Meaning, which is interesting, so those are people farming the Elder, Olmec's Sanctum, Cheula's Domain, and Death and Taxes. So there you go, that concludes this week roundup of stats. We hope that they piqued your interest of curiosity. There you go. Well, leave us a comment below. If you play hardcore, where have your characters ripped the most? Most of my characters rip at Innocence when I play hardcore. That's pretty much where they die. And then where are you dying, and where are you spending most of your time in terms of the total number of areas, or the total location of areas where you're spending your time? Obviously, I just spend a bunch of time in arcades, and right now I'm in the midst of a bunch of Burial Chambers. So where are you spending a bunch of your time? Are you dying in the Temple, or are you dying in Incursions? Where are you dying? Like and leave us a comment down below, and as always, stay tuned for more daily PoE content.